In this next episode of Question Everything, there are a few very simple things that I want to discuss with you. And that is with regards to me, because the Question Everything series is about me, my personal life experiences, my beliefs, and how those came about. And my understanding not only of South Africa but the world at large, the history of the world, as well as where we're going in future, because all of that together creates one cohesive picture. So I want people to understand or gain a better understanding of me, myself, and the path that I'm on right now. And I want to clarify a few things. I'm getting new subscribers all the time, so many of the people have not watched my older videos, so I encourage you to go and watch my older Double O Days and Question Everything video series. You do need to watch them all in order to understand where I'm coming from. It is clear that many of the people that are commenting don't watch my videos to the end. If you do not watch the video to the end, please refrain from commenting, because your comment will be seen out of context and you might look ignorant to the other people that do comment there that have actually completed the video. So to get context, there needs to be completion. It's very important to understand that when it comes to political and ideological boxes, I'm a non-conformist. In other words, I don't apply myself to any political box, because those boxes I had to get rid of. I certainly boxed myself many times in the past in various places, and that was stupid of me. Because the moment I realized that the New World Order ideology that I'm fighting, and that you should all be fighting with me, because it's an ideological fight, you need to first understand the enemy. Once you understand the enemy, then you can start to create a picture of your possibilities in fighting them. If you don't have an understanding of what those possibilities are, you cannot even begin to comprehend how to fight the New World Order ideology, and you are probably a proponent of it without knowing it. So you can actually be completely opposed to this ideology, but do everything, every single day, to make it happen, without you knowing, or without you even wanting to know that what you are doing is causing this, because it's an inconvenient truth. So a few things I want to make clear to you. I believe that everyone should have a right to bear arms. That's the first thing. Bear arms and defend their property to the death. That no one will take your property away from you. This should never ever be allowed. So land expropriation without compensation, or just taking anything from someone else, no matter what happened in the past, is not only wrong, but is an act of war. And anyone that has legal possession of any property has a right to defend it, not only under our constitution, but under our law. And this is an inalienable right that you have. You are born with that right. And without those rights, we cannot start to even build a normal civil society. The other thing that I want to explain to you is that all these political boxes that have been created, they come from a New World Order or Enlightenment ideology. And these are only tools that are used to divide people. Very, very effective tools. And like I said earlier today, I will actually still make a video just on these division tactics and how effective they are. So when you look at capitalism, socialism, communism, whatever isms that you want to throw out there, to the New World Order, they all achieve exactly the same end goal. And I realized this some time ago, that it doesn't matter whether you're in a capitalist system, because then there's financial enslavement. In a communist system, you have government enslavement. In a socialist system, everyone just ends up rotting, because there is absolutely no reason for anyone to excel. So if you try and create these ideologies which are all promising utopias, it's all fake. It doesn't really exist. It can never exist. It's just a concept. So I look at human beings as people that are capable of good and evil. And I like to look at evidence. I like to look at evidence for whether people are good or evil. And I will still do a video on the evidence within our country. Not what the mainstream media shows you, but what is happening every single day in every single community across South Africa. And that'll paint a very different picture to the one that the mainstream media give you, because the mainstream media is also a part of the New World Order agenda. They were deliberately captured. If you watch my video on the Rothschilds, you'll start to get a small glimpse of that. And next week Friday I will release a second part of that video. Please, you should watch that. A lot of you are going to be very upset with what I say. And I would have been upset with, I've got the same little buzzer flying around here right now that I had during the interview with Scott. It's important for you to know that that same ideology that the New World Order is trying to force on everyone has been there for a very, very long time. And if you don't have that picture, you will be upset with many things that I say. So I want to ask you to do one thing. Watch this video to the end. Watch my other videos to the end. I'm not talking about the In the News videos. That's a completely separate series. But the Question Everything and the Double O Des videos, watch them to the end or you will not understand what I'm talking about. So before you comment, please watch them to the end. I will not make sense with many things I say to many people. Many of you get what I'm saying, and the support has been immense, and the people that support and understand are 90% of you. But the 10%, I also want them to try and understand me. And if you want to clear anything up, feel free to send me an email. I will phone you, I will speak to you. I've spoken to so many of you. I've emailed so many of you. I've had meetings with many of you. I will still be meeting with many of you. So this is an action-driven movement. This is not something that will just stay on YouTube. And in fact, it's not just on YouTube. It is something that is action-driven. But to get back to me and what I believe. So you cannot take anyone's possessions that they have worked for and they've taken possession of away from them. There's no political ideology that can ever be correct in the world that does that. Okay? I do believe that every single person has a right to have access to land that they can own and build wealth on. Without that, you cannot succeed. No country can succeed if people don't have that. And communism and socialism and many other systems take that away from you. Even capitalism takes that away from you. And a lot of people won't understand why I say this, but this is the truth. I can prove it to you. Like I said, I like looking at evidence. And the evidence suggests that many people that are listening right now do not have access to land because the capitalist system does not allow them that access, does not give them the job that they need for them to be able to afford land and live on land. So where does that put you? More and more people on the street. Remember, we actually lived, in my belief, under a very communist type system under the apartheid government. People were given plenty jobs in government services. Most of those people weren't really needed. It was job creation. And nothing changed under the new government because the same people are still pulling the strings behind the scenes. And all of this is focused on enslaving us completely to a point where our every move can be controlled. And this is not the topic of this video. Another thing that I want to make clear, besides the right to bear arms, to protect your property to the end, and to be able to own your property so that you can put in effort to build wealth on that property. And this is crucial. Everyone should have that right and ability within the system we find ourselves in. And the system South Africa finds itself under, whatever you want to call it, because it's irrelevant to me whether you call it communism, capitalism, whether you call it socialism, those systems are meant to enslave us. So if we don't move away from the governance system that we have, we will never be able to be free, because on land you can grow food if it's arable land. You can hopefully have access to water, or have access to water close to where you are, without depending on government. And I would encourage everyone to become as independent of government as possible. Now, it's not going to be possible for everyone to perfectly do that, but strive towards it. It should be a principle in your life. Also, to be prepared for any eventuality. Be prepared for fire, earthquake, floods, anything like that. You should be able to remove your family from where you are and survive for 72 hours. This is a basic principle of belief that I have. It has nothing to do with politics. It has nothing to do with any biases or media or nothing. A basic, simple concept of life. And then make sure that you're not dependent on someone else or a shop for your food. That you depend as little as possible on a shop. Rather depend on people you know for your food supply. Get to know farmers. Get to know people that grow vegetables. Barter with each other. Create a parallel system. If you want to fight the New World Order ideology, you cannot attack the order directly. The moment you do that, you will be eliminated. It is that simple. So what you need to do is create an alternative where you don't need them. Now, many people will say, oh, but I pay a whole lot of tax, so I expect the government to do something for me. How has that worked out for you? That money is being siphoned out of the country faster than you can say knife, and it's not sitting in Zuma's bank account, and it's not sitting in the Gupta's bank account. I can assure you that. I know where that money is. There are sovereign countries that have been sucking our fiscus dry now for centuries, and they haven't stopped. So we get a new face government, but the people behind the scenes still control the money, still take the taxpayers' money, and that is why you will never receive the services that you should be getting. And that is why we need a governance system where you will be able to be in control of what your taxes will actually do. So we need a smaller national government, and we need to be able to govern ourselves on the ground. Now, how do we make this possible? Through one simple thing. Responsible citizenry. I believe in democracy, the process of democracy. But what we have in our country and many other countries, you cannot call a democracy, especially when people with financial power are in charge of how regulations and rules are made for you, the people. So a lot of people will say, we, the people, are actually in charge. That's not the case. It's not the case at all. You have the power, yes, because if all of us rise up, we can do whatever we want, but we need one mind to do that. And that has never happened in the history of the world. So good luck with that one. But what we can do is one community at a time, within your culture, within your belief system, it doesn't matter what it is, make yourself as independent of government as possible, and things will start improving for you. So what you're doing is you put your labor towards yourself, not towards something that hands over tax, that goes to political parties and all sorts of other things that you will never see. It makes absolutely no sense. So for anyone that think that I want to give up my belongings, they don't know what they're talking about, because I will fight to the death for it, and I actually have a history of fighting with people over my property, like physically. So, and I would encourage you to do the same. Never hand over your property to anyone if you don't have to do it, or your life doesn't, if your life depends on it, you can make a choice. I'm just the kind of person, I will not give up anything. Someone can put a gun in my face, I'm going to try and grab it. It's just me. So protecting property and life is extremely important, and it's a right that we all have. And throughout my history, I will defend that right. I will also defend the right for everyone to have access to a piece of land and to be able to build themselves a home or whatever it is that they want to do. And many of these elitist systems that have been built into the world aims at dividing us, speaking about lower class, poor, middle class, elites, different levels of elites. I have a super yacht. No, I drive a Mercedes or BMW. I don't put on my indicators. It carries on and on. All these classisms are there to divide us. And like I said, I will cover that in another video. But what it achieves is it blinds you to what unity may look like within a country. And it takes away the similarities that different people from different beliefs have, the similarities in the life that they want. And it's a very simple thing that most people want, and that I want. And to stop an ideological war, which really exists, to create this new world order where we will all have the same. We will have the same. In other words, everyone will get food, clothes, a place to stay. Everyone will have exactly the same. You won't have to work. In fact, jobs won't exist anymore. Because you will have a small portion of people working like slaves to ensure your upkeep. And that is why people are being forced into metros. By 2030, 70% of the world's population needs to be in metros. There are timelines for these United Nations agendas. And the United Nations they're the chief agency that influence governments to implement all of these policies. And most governments around the world have actually signed into Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030. So there's specific timelines for certain things to be achieved. And by the time we get to 2030, and the densification happens, and you have people living on top of each other, it's all so that a new world order can control the population. But there's a few secrets that they have up their sleeve. And those secrets are simple, and that is the end goal. To raise a generation of children, because the older people are irrelevant and they're busy killing many of them off with this virus now, those with weaknesses and comorbidities, is that the younger generation that are in school now needs to be indoctrinated without you taking any interest in their lives. So they've created so many distractions that you are worried about, that you don't look at your own child, the books they bring home, what they're being taught at school. And through that, you are literally allowing a new world order robot to be raised under your own roof. And your children, I mean, it's brutal to call them robots. I have 7 children, and I have proof that the work that they were doing was going to turn them into those new world order robots. And that's why we decided to remove them from school 3 weeks ago and are homeschooling them now. And that wasn't an easy decision. I do believe in social interaction and many other things, but that's a video for another day. So the easiest way to get control of the world population is to create an entire society of children dependent on internet, social media, and Wi-Fi. So if your child is obsessed over Wi-Fi and internet speed, you have a perfect little New World Order drone on your hands, and they will accept the New World Order ideology with open arms. They have been prepared, and you have allowed it. And this I want to make clear, that no one in the New World Order has forced anything on anyone up until now with a pandemic. This has given them carte blanche to do tests on society and see how we respond in times of oppression, direct oppression, extreme violation of laws, setting the military on us, setting the police on us, against us as citizens, high treason, and we accepted it. The majority of people accepted it, and in fact 70% of the people in opinion polls said that they are willing to hand over their freedom for their lives to be saved. So the narrative that had to be created was that all of us are going to lose our lives. There's a strong chance that we are going to die because of a pandemic that has been created. And that fear and the mainstream media has been so effective that 70% of people believe that fear. Now, the bright side is that 30% do not believe that fear. And that is a lot more than before. In the past, 90% of people would have actually believed that fear-mongering. Now, it's down to 70%. We are winning the fight. People are waking up in their thousands. And many of the subscribers to my channel are those people that are waking up. Now, I want these people to be patient with me, because I've deliberately put out certain videos with very harsh words, and many of you I knew would take it up the wrong way because you are not ready to listen yet. Maybe wait a month or two and watch the videos again, and you might have a completely different insight. And watch the entire Question Everything series. Remember, I had to go through the same process that you are going through. There are many people out there making an effort like me to bring you truth. There are also many people out there running the fake and false narratives and the split ideology. So it is a minefield out there, and I thank those people that have entrusted me to get information from me that you can then go and research on your own and come to your own conclusions. I cannot expect anyone to believe me, and I've never asked anyone to believe me or say trust me or I promise. I don't believe in that. I believe in people being converted to an idea themselves, and I hope that you will stay with me on this journey, because it's going to be a long one till the end, where you will help me to first put your biases and prejudices aside, as difficult as it might be. It is difficult. I found it extremely difficult. I'm expecting of many of you to do what took me years to do, and it's because we're running out of time. But I didn't have a pandemic and all these things thrown into my face at the time for me to come to the realization of the knowledge that I have. And I've been privileged to be thrown into circumstances that have made a clear picture for me that not many other people had in their lives. Those set of circumstances I wouldn't wish on anybody. It's had profound effects on my life, and I wish that it wasn't necessary. But here I am, stuck with the knowledge that I have, and I believe I need to transfer that knowledge to you. That's why this is an information channel. This is not a people-pleasing channel. And I will have a more reconciliatory tone from now on, because I believe the sifting has taken place, because it is difficult to work with certain people that are probably never going to change their bias, because they are so enthralled and so consumed by what they've become involved with, that actually is furthering the New World Order ideology, that it's difficult for them to see clearly. And I hope that either their family members or someone that they will listen to can break through to them, so that they can see that they can also become part of the solution, and then that they will contact me later and say, Desmond, you know, I thought you were talking utter rubbish, but now I understand. Because I would have said a lot of the same things of myself if I had to listen to myself now 10 years ago. I would have probably not subscribed to this channel. But a lot has happened since that time. A lot has happened to us. A lot has happened to South Africa, and a lot has happened to the world. And I think the pennies are starting to drop, and even for myself. To know something and then to see it happen is two very, very different things. When things happen and what your knowledge base knows is validated, it causes you to want to act. And I want all of you, because of what's happened to all of you now, because it's the first time that everyone has been affected by New World Order ideology with this pandemic that's being created to get us to a place where we will give up our freedom. And the COVID pass system is one of the ways we will be handing over our freedom. There was actually governments that decreed that this new system is what they will use. They decreed this, and it's linked to ID 2020, which is all linked to UN, United Nations programs. Now, any of you that are new to my channel, once again, I encourage you to go and watch my Question Everything series of videos. Also watch my other 00 Days videos. It'll take time. Some of you have gone through it 2 or 3 times already, and I thank you for that. And many of you have said that each time that you go through it again, because you can now drop your inhibitions, you learn more every time. And that is certainly true. Every time I read a portion of a book or a quote, I often see new things within that. The other thing I want to encourage you to do is to go and read 2 books. The one book is called The Prince. And the prince will explain the Machiavellian principles to you. The Machiavellian principles are clearly misunderstood by many people. What Machiavelli tried to do is explain how you can get complete control of people. And the methods that people used, he didn't say that this is what people should do. He saw this in action a long time ago. And if you read The Prince, you will see what is happening in the world right now. I can tell you that Adam Weishaupt, that founded the Bavarian Illuminati, was aware of all these principles. Another book that you can read is The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Once you read The Art of War, you will understand what most politicians use. You will often hear Julius Malema or even some of our past presidents, even President Nelson Mandela, mention that is a Machiavellian principle. All of them understand the Machiavellian principles from The Prince. And if you haven't read these books, you cannot begin to understand what I understand, or what, for instance, my wife understands with regards to politics and the strategy that is used every day in our lives, not just by politicians, but by businesses. These principles are applied daily, and you are the victim. And I've been the victim, I'm still the victim, because I'm still not fully free from our government system. I still use toilet facilities, I use bathroom facilities, I use waste and sewage removal facilities, water facilities, and electricity facilities, all provided by the government. So I am not independent of government myself. However, I can take my family away from where I am now and survive for an extended period of time in a completely isolated place. I've made those preparations for any eventuality, whether it be a flood, storm, whether it be a fire, an earthquake, it doesn't matter. We have prepared ourselves for that, and everyone else should be prepared for any eventuality too. Do not think that in future that a foreign power might not come into our country to take our liberty and freedom away. This is a real possibility, and this will not be China. It will not be China. Think about that. All of these governments, whether it's Russia, China, the US, Britain, their finances are controlled by a few families in the world. And they are beholden to those people as long as they are also entrapped in the fiat currency monetary system. And there's many people that are trying to get away from the system. I've said a lot during this video. It's almost been half an hour. But I wanted to have this discussion with you so that you can get a better perspective of me and my beliefs. Because I think many people misunderstand, especially some of the new subscribers that have not watched my older videos. They are coming in cold, and it might be very, very daunting for them to watch what I say. So you need to watch them in context, fully understand. Communism is our enemy. Socialism is our enemy. Under a benevolent capitalist system, we can make things work, but it needs to be benevolent. If it's not benevolent, you do exactly the same as communism and socialism. So systems are a problem. We need to be right or wrong, okay? Good or evil. That is literally where we have to make our choices and decisions. And I really thank those people that will sit through this video, listen to what I have to say, because there are a lot of points that I'm trying to make. And please, I want to encourage you. If you're not sure about anything, contact me. Email me. In the About Us section of my channel, you will find, it says the email. You have to click on a link that proves that you're not a robot, and the email will be revealed to you. So you can't directly see it, but lots of people are emailing me. So I know that the function works. And then I will make contact with you if necessary. At the moment, I'm receiving hundreds of messages a day on WhatsApp, on Signal, on email, in Messenger, on Facebook, on various platforms. So it is daunting at this stage to get back to you, but I will, as long as I am able, I'm getting back to people, I'm phoning people, I will be meeting with people. And my road shows will be kicking off soon. And I have received funds from people that have donated towards these road shows, and I really want to thank you for that. I have never asked for any funds. And the people that have seen the light have actually thought that they would make a contribution. And now I can tell you what that would be used for. So there will be no specific video where I ask anyone to fund anything. If the people see the vision, the results will follow. And they are. So I will start these roadshows. I will meet with you. It's not going to cost money. I need people. I need ears. And it can't be big groups. Maximum 12 people. I will meet you at a home or wherever. I prefer for it not to be a public place. It needs to be private, and we can have in-depth discussions. And we need to have these discussions, and I'm looking forward to meeting you across South Africa. There are already many groups that have set up meetings. So I think we probably have more than 20 groups right now. Many of them upcountry. I'm in Cape Town. Many of them in Cape Town, up the Garden route. There's many of them in the Pretoria area. So please send those emails through to me. Arrange those meetings. People can question me themselves. I'll be able to reveal a lot more to you in person than I can on this open forum. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe to the channel. Click the bell icon. I will set up a schedule for this channel from now on, and I'm really excited about doing that because it won't be as taxing, and it'll be giving you exactly what you are here for. And it's not just in the news. Most of you are here for my 00 Days and my Question Everything series, and hopefully for the snippets as well. So the snippets as a new thumbnail, please look at those thumbnails so that you're familiar with it when it comes out. A lot of you don't get notifications. Click the bell icon if you haven't yet. Then also make sure that you are still subscribed to the channel. Many of you have said that your subscriptions were just gone for some reason, so go back and check. Till the next video.